I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are meeting. I pay respects to their elders, past and present, and the Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here today. So first of all, welcome. Thank you all for making the time. We appreciate you coming to the event this year. I have the lovely job of housekeeping, so we have emergency exits at the back and the side. Please follow the track lighting to the emergency exits. Bathrooms are outside along the corridor on the left-hand side. And can we please ensure all phones are on silent so we don't interrupt any of the riveting panel discussions that are going on. Questions, comments, concerns, the registration desk at the far end of the hallway. There'll be someone there all the time to answer any questions, provide power for your phone, tell you about the internet. Wi-Fi is available. We have the password on the screen right now. So during the conference, we're using the app called Events Air. You can download the app via the QR code on the back, and your login details are on the back of your registration badge as well. Really important that you download the app, because in order to scan the QR codes to exchange contacts and for the exhibitors, you actually have to do that through the app, not through the camera on your phone. So to exchange contacts with someone here, if you go to the meeting hub and then on the contact exchange, you can scan the QR code and also your QR code is there. For gamification, which is a competition that we're running during the event, and to go through the gamification app, you can also then scan the QR codes of the exhibitors to find out more about the exhibitors and enter into the gamification. Also on the app, you'll be able to, for most of the sessions, to put questions for the Q&A sessions directly into the app, and they'll come up on the screen for the panel to address your question. So really important that you get on the app, the agenda, the attendees, everything is on there. During the breaks, please be sure to visit the exhibit halls and have a chat with the exhibitors, grab a coffee. Shout out to Taz Bot for the coffee stands. We would die without coffee. We also have the CAN Group Network Lounge as you exit the doors on the right-hand side. So a little meeting hub, great place to sit down and have a relax. Also, please be sure to always wear your badges for security reasons and for coming in and out of the show, really important. This is also your entry for the networking drinks as well as the gala dinner if you are joining us for those social events as well. Once again, any concerns for registration or the badge, please go to the registration desk. I'll be on site for the whole event. My name is Patty. Questions, comments, concerns, please come and ask me anything, and thank you so much for coming along to our event this year. I'll now pass over to Peter Kurtzia for our welcome.
Good morning. Well, it's a bit of a subdued start with a little clap, golf clap. Listen, on behalf of MCIA, welcome to A-Cannabis 2024. This is a meeting that was first launched in 2020, long before I joined the industry. So it's been around for quite a while, and I think based on the registration, it's probably the biggest so far. So it's going to be a great series of sessions, really trying to build networks with people, share your knowledge and learn, and really appreciate the industry we're in, which is pretty exciting. So before I forget though, I did want to say these meetings only happen as a result of the partners that we have and our support from those partners. So I did want to recognise those specifically. Please have a look on the screen. Remind yourself who is a wonderful partner with us, and thanks to all of these partners with us. Ours is an industry that demands us both to be scientific and artists. To care about TGO 93, but also to care about terpenes, as I'm reminded, and to focus on both pharma with a PH and pharma with an F. And therefore, It is quite a challenging place to be, and we do it all for the amazing patients that we help every single day. The medicinal cannabis ecosystem in Australia is, I believe, entering a really important period, with hundreds of thousands of people now taking our products and an ever-increasing array of new products and new opportunities to treat more and more people. But despite all our amazing progress, and the next session that Cass will run will be how big is the market, we certainly know that there still remains around about 5 times the consumption of cannabis illegally or not in the legal space as there is in the legal space. And that means, that to me is a constant reminder of the challenge that sits in front of us. 5 times as much consumption. So we've made a lot of progress, but there's a long way to go. So with our focus being on providing a consolidated voice in the industry, MCIA this week will allow us all to highlight key issues. This meeting will be an opportunity for our industry, including regulatory frameworks, market dynamics, product innovation, export opportunities, and innovation for genetics and cultivation. So a pretty comprehensive plan and look at the agenda for what we're about to do. It's not therefore a surprise that the theme for this year is innovate, collaborate and grow. And I would say that the value of these meetings is not from people like me standing up here and talking to you, it's usually from the interactions and the input of everybody in the audience. So we really ask you, please don't sit quietly in the dark like you were trained to do at school. This is a place to put your hand up and to yell out. This is a full-on collaborative experience, hopefully for the next few days. That was the plan, and it's always been the plan. So there are big sections for Q&As. There's also an opportunity for you to comment. All of you hold knowledge, and collectively that's the knowledge we're trying to draw out. We're only a few months into 2024, and already there are many issues issues that the industry is trying to address, and I'm hoping we'll get to some of those today. I wrote a few down, and I'm sure you've probably got your own list. Is the SAS AP system still doing what it was meant to do for our industry? I think it's a big question. Number 2, we're 10 months into the new TGO 93 changes. How's that going? Has it worked? How has it worked? Where hasn't it worked? And we're entering an era where there's more and more local production coming in from Australian growers. How do we balance that with what is predominantly at the moment an imported market? And of course the big complicated subject of law reform, which sits with a lot of state and federal governments right now in conversation, and some who seem to show interest and then kick the whole thing down the road as much as they possibly can. How are we going to navigate our way past that? And as I said, 5 times the use that is not sitting in our legal system at the moment. So access for patients is still critical and still a big issue despite the size. So for some of us also, export is a big opportunity, and we've saw the changes, albeit them small, but the first steps in Germany, for instance. And we know there are many other changes taking place, particularly in Europe, but not just Europe. There's a lot more interest across the world in the benefits of our products. And as local production comes on, export becomes an issue, and MCIA were awarded a $250,000 grant from the Agricultural Trade Market Access Group, Cooperation, to assist us in securing an export pathway. And if you hang around tomorrow, you'll hear a little bit more about where that's up to. So that's kind of an interesting part, I think, also to add on to our industry. I think 2022 we exported 1,500 odd kilos, so we're still a long way from being a big export we're a long way from being a big export market, but I'm hoping that'll change. So without spending too much more time, I want to wish you a great week. I again remind you, please spend the time to give your input. Please meet up with everyone, use the badges to introduce yourself to people you don't know. If you don't know me, come up and talk to me. But I really appreciate everyone's attendance. I think this will possibly be the biggest meeting we've had, and it's a wonderful opportunity to learn from each other, so please take the time. So unfortunately, based on the if you look at the agenda, unfortunately, we were going to have a special guest, the Honourable Dr. Ananda Raja. She can't be with us today, but we do have, by video, an introduction from the Honourable Jed Carney, the Federal Assistant Minister for Health and Aged Care. And after that video, Cassandra will go into the first session. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the week.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Jed Carney, the Assistant Minister for Health and Aged Care, and I'm pleased to welcome you to Melbourne for A-Cannabis 2024. You're gathering today on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri, Woiwurrung and Bunurong peoples of the Kulin Nation. I'd like to pay my respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to any First Nations people in the room with you today. I'm sorry I can't be with you in person, but I want to take the opportunity to wish you a terrific few days. Now in its 5th year, A-Cannabis is an important date in the calendar for the medicinal cannabis ecosystem, bringing together policymakers, leaders, healthcare professionals, industry and patients to exchange ideas and share knowledge. You've got a jam-packed program ahead and one that covers the gamut of the industry. It's such an exciting time to be involved in this space, not just because of the growth, but because of the real world impacts that you are having on the lives of people right around the country. I'm particularly pleased to see patients and patient advocates are again front and centre. Keeping the needs and wishes of patients at the forefront is vital. Whether you're a manufacturer, a supplier, a researcher, a healthcare provider, or a policymaker, or indeed government, we know there are many Australians with really challenging and often life-limiting conditions. Australians who would like to access medicinal cannabis, but who simply can't afford it. The numbers are going in the right direction. More than 5,700 individual medical and nurse practitioners and 2,480 authorised prescribers across every state and territory have been approved to prescribe medicinal cannabis to patients. More than 500 products have been prescribed through the Authorised Prescriber Scheme and Special Access Scheme. Now, at this time last year, 600,000 patients were approved to access medicinal cannabis products. But today, it's almost double at over 1.1 million patients, and it is truly changing lives. Now, there's been impressive growth rates, but cost does remain a significant barrier. We need more companies to apply to put their products on the Australian Register for Therapeutic Goods and sponsors to apply to have their medications listed on the Pharmaceutical Benefits Scheme, or the PBS, and subsidised for patients. It's this pathway that will open up medicinal cannabis and the life-changing results for many, many more patients in need. Today, there are 2 products on the register and one is listed on the PBS. Epidiolex was first listed in 2021 for the treatment of Dravet syndrome, a rare form of epilepsy. Then in June last year, Labor expanded the listing to include treatment of seizures associated with Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, another severe form of epilepsy. Without the PBS subsidy, patients and their families could pay around $28,000 per year of treatment. Instead, they pay around $31.60 per script and $7.70 if they have a concession card. I really encourage interested companies to approach the Therapeutic Goods Administration to talk through the initial application process. At last year's conference, I spoke about how the TGA and the Office of Drug Control were working with industry to cut red tape. Much has been accomplished with the TGA, improving the online registration process and a new pharmacist validation tool. The Office of Drug Control updated its medicinal cannabis licence and permit fees and charges in August last year, based on close consultation with industry. Work is continuing to improve how industry can submit, pay and monitor licence and permit applications. This will make the application process easier and more convenient for industry. It will mean we can all continue to make a difference in the lives of Australians. Thank you for your time this morning. I look forward to working with MCIA and the medicinal cannabis sector to support access and affordability for more Australian patients. Enjoy your conference.